Could you tell me how you started?
Sure, absolutely. I started off just doing a little bit of radio, and I was doing women's basketball for a Division I college team, doing that for free for several years while I had a day job. And then eventually my connections in that got me into radio with my own show that I was producing and selling and hosting. And after doing that for 1 year, I got into television from somebody else I knew. So it was a step of doing for a couple years free work while having a day job, to a radio show while having a day job, to TV. So it was stair steps all the way on up to the land of TV.
So, are you making enough money now, or do you still have jobs on the side?
I make enough that I don't have to have jobs on the side, but in television anymore, you don't make a whole lot of money. People think you're making these giant six-figure salaries. That's not the case anymore. It used to be kind of that way, but it's changing now. Supply versus demand. Now we're getting into business class, where the supply of people, wanting to get into the business is very high now, where the demand for jobs is very low. So they can pay you less salary because, you're not willing to work for, $35,000, $30,000, $25,000 a year? Well, okay, you're not hiring you, this person will. So in TV, you kind of have this thing where the salaries are actually coming down a little bit on the local level.
And do you enjoy doing TV more than radio?
It's very different. They're very, very different things. I enjoy TV for the aspect of the fact that you can have a visual component to it. And when I tell stories, and that's what I like to do, I like to be a storyteller. So when I tell stories, having that visual component, especially when your video can match up to whatever you're talking about, and you can show somebody, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, well, video is worth about 1 million, about 1 million words. If you can show 5 seconds of video, you can do that. You can explain something a lot better than you ever could by typing out if you typed until the end of time. So I like that. But it's very structured in TV, and you're very
Is it more difficult?
It's not necessarily more difficult. It is in the way of deadlines, because you have 2 deadlines. For me, I have 2 deadlines every single day, one at 6 o'clock and one at 11. And there'll be times I'm shooting UT football practice at 5 o'clock and leave campus and have to get back and put something on for the 6 o'clock. Get back, dump in the video, edit, write something up, get on for 6, run back out here, talk to coaches after practice is over, and then go shoot a high school basketball game, come back, edit both those for 11. Whereas radio, you don't quite have, you make your own deadlines on your own show, and it's a lot more free form. And radio is just more of a discussion between you and another host, between you and a guest, between you and a caller, as opposed to TV that's more one way.
But radio is live.
Radio's live. TV is live too, but radio is more of a discussion about an interaction between 2 people. And we can sit and we can talk about a UT basketball game and go on for about 5 minutes if we want to talk about that. Where TV, we have 3 to 3.5 minutes per segment each day. That's it. We have 3 minutes at 6, 3.5 at 11. And we have to get in every single thing we can talk about in 3 minutes. And there's not a discussion back and forth. It's just one person kind of giving you what the top headlines kind of are of the day.
And what do you do when you have to cover a sport you don't really know about?
That's the tricky thing in the business. For the most part, if you want to work in sports, you have to know sports. It's not like, I enjoy sports. You have to know them and have grown up around them. And if you didn't, you better learn them really, really freaking quick. Because, if you say one wrong thing or call something a wrong phrase to a player or coach you're interviewing, you drop down in their eyes. So now, they're not going to give you the answers you maybe want. So there's very few sports that I don't know that much about. The ones that are more international, like rugby, I wouldn't know that much about, but I have watched it, and I've tried to pick up a little bit of it. Australian rules football. Some of these other sports that aren't really big. Cricket is one that is
as
not
major as football is here.
Yes, cricket is huge in India, Pakistan, some of those other places. Massive over there. Here, no one really plays it. So if I had to go cover a cricket event, I'd be in trouble. But I have a general idea with a little bit of baseball that kind of crosses over. It's very different, but there's just enough terminology that I can turn a phrase, so to speak, off of some baseball with cricket. But other than that, you just have to be willing to learn what it's about. But luckily for us, what we do, we don't have that much crossover because there's not a whole lot of cricket or rugby going on here. But I did cover the UT rugby team last year when they were really good, and I had to learn a lot in a hurry. But in that case, the story wasn't about the specifics of the rules and the UT was putting this on the board, this many points, or stopping this many points. It was more about the people. And in TV, what you're trying to do more times than not is you try and make it about the person anyway. So it was more about the people and what UT's rugby team had to go through to get to where they were.
And what's the quickest way to learn a sport
Uh,
if you want to report about it?
Absolutely. The quickest way to learn is the same as trying to learn a new language. You have to immerse yourself in it. You know, if you're learning a new language, you can read the stuff in the book, same as you can in sports, and learn the rules. Same as you learn the rules if you're trying to learn how to speak Spanish. But the only way to really learn Spanish, I took 2 years of Spanish. I can barely speak a lick of it. I can ask for the bathrooms and how to order a beer, and that's about it. But to learn a language, you have to be involved in it. You have to immerse yourself in it. So to learn a sport you don't really know, you better be going to a game. You better be watching on TV, and you better be listening to specifically what an announcer talks about, and literally just kind of ask some questions. You really have to immerse yourself in it.